Dudes and dudettes, how are you guys? This is Chazzy and welcome back to Telechazzy, the segment on this channel where I review the many television series that I watch over the years across many different genres. And today, some of you might be getting a bit of a familiar feeling of deja vu, because today I'm going to be reviewing A League of Their Own. Does that sound familiar? It's because I reviewed the original 1992 movie some time ago, the baseball comedy drama with Tom Hanks, Gina Davis, a classic of American cinema. And today I'm going to be covering the reboot series that was released in 2022, you know, an Amazon Prime Video original, right, with 8 episodes. And well, 30 years after the original movie, man, they really did it a lot of injustice with this one, you know, because this new reboot series, you know, which takes place around the same time, you know, early 40s, World War II, formation of the All-American Girls Professional Baseball League, right? But they include all new characters and storylines, you know, and also new themes. And in general, like, they decided to focus a lot less on baseball and a lot more on pandering to the LGBT community, because this reboot series is like 10% baseball and 90% lesbian drama. You know, I really don't understand where their head was with it, you know. The original movie was directed by Penny Marshall, who put something really unique and special together for us, you know. One of the best movies I've ever watched in my entire life. Whereas this show, which was co-created by, you know, Will Graham and Abby Jacobson, like, you can tell that they are very avid supporters of the LGBT community, because that's all this show was, you know. It's just like, I don't understand, man. I don't really understand where their head was at, because it's pretty much just lesbian drama over and over again. You know, at one point I forgot that I was watching the Rockford Peaches playing baseball, you know. And there was a second season, you know. The Prime Video did renew it for a 4-episode second and final season, but in August of last year there was a WGA strike, you know, the Writers Guild of America, you know, the little labor dispute, you know, so all the writers went on strike and we're not gonna get a second season. But if I can be honest, man, that's not a bad thing. It really isn't, you know, because I did not like this series at all. Now, I'm aware that because the world is so hell-bent on pandering to the LGBT community, you know, like, it seems like every other movie and TV show is filled to the brim with them. And it's like, I have nothing against, you know, gays or lesbians or trans or bi, whatever the hell you are, you know, I really have nothing against you at all. But it's not because I'm not against you that I want, you know, you shoved down my throat, you know. It's like I can't watch anything on Netflix or Prime Video without there being way too many themes of this, you know. And I mean, dude, I understand that you guys are being more represented lately, you know, and that's great, that's fine. But do you have to be represented in everything? You know, it doesn't really make sense. And I'm very well aware that if this video gets a lot of views, I will definitely garner a lot of hate, you know, a lot of criticism. And if you really think I care, then you're obviously new to this channel, you know. This is a place for me to, you know, put my opinions out in whatever form, shape, or manner I see fit, you know. That's what YouTube has always been for. And I really did not like this show, man, you know. It's like, they definitely lost the point, you know. Like the beginning was okay, it was cool and started out pretty well, but then as the episodes went on, it's like, this isn't even a league of their own, you know. There's no focus on the women's baseball league, right? It's just so dumb. But still, good cast, you know, good soundtrack, you know, the score, but everything else was just so bland and honestly kind of boring. But anyway, before I continue and talk a little bit about the plot, you know, the episode summaries, let's take a look at a clip here from the show.
You're clearly going to tryouts.
She doesn't look like that much competition.
I could be competition, I think.
Oh, we're here for the tryouts.
I don't think you understand. This is the All-American League.
We're pretty all-American. Who was that?
Alrighty, so the series begins in 1943, right, when all of the men are off fighting World War II. So just like in the original movie, there are a lot of women who try out, you know, to form professional baseball teams in the absence of the MLB, right? So now we mainly follow the Rockford Peaches, the same team from the original movie. We do see a lot of the same teams, you know, the same names, everything, the same tournament format. And the main character, you know, is Carson Shaw, who her husband is away at war, so she kind of like sneaks away to try out for the baseball team to fulfill her dream of playing in the American leagues, you know, and whatnot. And like simultaneously, there is a subplot, you know, with Maxine, who is a black girl who is trying really really hard to play baseball. She's in love with it, you know. She pitches really well, but because of rampant racism back in the time period, you know, she struggles to get noticed or even be considered for a team, you know. This is actually a really interesting subplot in my opinion because it explores themes of racism that weren't present in the original. This was a very good addition, you know. I have to applaud, you know, the decision of the producers to put this in because there was such thing as a baseball Negro leagues, you know, that was primarily active from the 1920s to the 1950s. So like time-wise, it did fit perfectly, you know, with the setting, right? But of course, not satisfied with including, you know, an African-American character trying to be a baseball player, they also made her gay. They turned her into a lesbian. So pretty much every character is a lesbian, you know. I don't remember a single one who isn't, you know. Carson Shaw is married, you know, she has a husband, and even so, they make her explore her sexuality and fall in love with another character named Greta. You know, she meets Greta and Joe, who are friends early on, you know. They go to the field to try out and stuff, and like the girls make the team, you know, and they start to bond. At first they don't get along too well, you know, but very quickly right off the bat we see that everybody is just a, you know, flaming homosexual, you know. Everybody has feelings for each other, you know. There are some girls who are more heavily out of the closet than others, you know. And as the show continues, we also meet Clance, who was Maxine's best friend, who has a husband named Guy. Eventually he gets drafted to the war, and she's a comic book artist, so she makes comics about him being a superhero for him to see and feel better, right? So there are a lot of secondary characters, you know, who bring in some really interesting dynamics, right? And some of the baseball players in the Peaches are Hispanic or Latina, so they're including even more minorities now. It's like they were putting in a bunch of things that they didn't see in the original movie, you know, that like, this is the problem with remaking something from 30 years ago that was perfect the way it was, when you just try to include a bunch of themes that you think would be appropriate in today's day and age instead of making something completely new and different and original, but semantics, right? So there are a lot of different themes of feminism as well, so like we see that the girls aren't really taken very seriously. And even this is pushed to the sideline a little bit in more relation to, you know, relation to the gay rights, you know, because it seems like people are more against gays than women playing baseball. So they flipped the theme of the original movie on its head now. So let's not persecute women. Let's persecute, you know, gay women specifically, you know. There's an episode where we find that the characters discover a gay bar. They go there to be together more comfortably without being seen and judged and ridiculed and this and that, you know. It's really crazy. There are a lot of conflicts here and there. Like Greta and Carson, they do form a relationship, but they want to hide it, so they start sneaking around and making out and stuff. They get into arguments. Greta is a little bit more headstrong and independent, so she kind of pushes Carson away. Carson is a little more emotionally dependent, you know, so they do balance each other out. And I don't know, man. You know, it's really cool. There are episodes where Maxine decides to try out for the men's team. She even gets a job at a factory so she can actually play on the team, but it doesn't go very well. She ends up choking, but practicing a little bit more with Carson, eventually she does get on the team, you know. It's interesting, you know, how but the problem is that she's really annoying. The actress who played her did a very good job, you know. I'm not kicking the actress, I'm kicking the character, because she's way too annoying and irritating, you know. She's always complaining, getting into fights, you know. It's like when you want to make a very strong female lead, but you end up making her a bit too annoying, you know, where she's always ranting about everything, you know. But I don't know, man. There are some moments where we do see the racism and white privilege playing out, like when Clance and Maxine go to a store to buy, I think it was shrimp or something, you know, and the guy doesn't even look at them, but then when two white girls come in, Carson and a friend of hers, you know, then he immediately goes to them. There are themes that are really interesting, you know. The show wasn't completely worthless. They did try to show us a few very overlying themes, you know. I think it's nice. But the tryouts for baseball were very few and far between. The games as well, you know. We saw very few baseball games throughout the episodes, which is really annoying because it's called A League of Their Own. It's based on a baseball movie, so I would have liked to see a bit more of that, you know. But I don't know, dude. You know, the moment where they remake the scene of the girls having to put up makeup and trying to be all girly and stuff, you know, some of them have difficulty with it. As the episodes go on, they do start to form a stronger camaraderie. They do stick together. Joe at one point, you know, who's the chubby girl who everybody is gonna think isn't attractive, but she's actually a really good baseball player, a very nice girl too, very close with Greta. She goes to the Racine Bells, you know, they play against each other in the World Series, you know that, and there's a moment where they help her, she gets hurt, so all of the Rockford Peaches come in and they carry her, you know, to the next base. It's really touching, you know. But they tried to shoehorn in some references to the movie, you know, like for example when Carson starts crying and one of the other girls says, "Hey, there's no crying in baseball." No, don't do that. Don't. That was not like, it was that does not pay proper homage to the original movie, man. The way that you shoehorn that line in, that was just way too annoying. Anyway, let's talk about something else now while no, first let me show you another clip here and then I'm gonna continue the review.
Showing that knuckleball.
They didn't even let me try out, Dad.
Maxine, you've got to make some smarter choices.
This is fun.
This is something I can work with.
Peaches! I'd like to go through a few rules. Curfew is at 10 p.m. sharp. No smoking or drinking. No pants.
What?
You know, the character of Maxine Chapel was actually a lot of wasted potential in my opinion, because they could have done something really interesting with her character arc, you know, because she is actually the combination of three different, you know, women who played in the Negro Leagues, you know. We had Tony Stone, Mamie Johnson, and Connie Morgan, you know, like combining them three, they kind of created a whole new character from scratch, you know. But she was just so damn annoying, man. I don't get cause like back in the day, guys, we're talking about the early 40s. I'm not denying that there were, you know, gay athletes and gay people in general, man, maybe women, like maybe all of the men going off to war made some of the women come out of the closet. I'm not saying that it didn't happen. I'm just saying that like this show made pretty much every character out to be gay, and that's not how life works, you know. You can't just assume an entire professional women's baseball league is comprised of women who like other women, you know. But about the cast, right? Everybody acted really well. I'm going to read just the main cast, not the recurring cast, you know. Everybody acted really well in my opinion, but I still think that I don't know, man. Abby Jacobson played Carson Shaw, you know, who's kind of like the main character, having a clandestine affair with Greta. She is also one of the co-creators of the show alongside Will Graham, you know. We have Chante Adams, I don't know if that's how you pronounce her name, I'm sorry. Chante Adams playing Maxine, you know, who is very, very talented, a really good pitcher, and she hides her sexuality from her friends and family, you know. She actually has a really good, interesting relationship with her mother, you know, that at first is really okay, you know. Her mother wants her to take over the saloon, the family business, you know. And her mom disapproves of her going after baseball because she doesn't take it seriously, you know, and she also doesn't like her being, you know, gay, although I do believe she finds out later. The characters in the show called this inverted, but I don't know if it refers to gay or, you know, transgender, I don't know, because anyway. So D'Arcy Carden, you know, as Greta Gill, who was one of my favorite actresses, not necessarily the character, but I like the actress a lot, especially in The Good Place. I really liked her in that show there. So, you know, glamorous player, you know, kind of like the beauty queen of all of them. Then we have, oh my god, Guy Bemisola Ikumelo as Clarence Morgan, you know, who's Maxine's best friend and the comic book artist, you know, kind of devastated after Guy goes off to war, but she is always there by Maxine's side trying to help her out. Then we have Roberta Colindrez as Lupe Garcia, who is the Mexican-American pitcher. Sometimes she's called the Spanish striker. She is very, very hard to get through, you know. She doesn't really wear her emotions on her sleeves, but she does show a caring nature sometimes, you know, very tough, badass. Kelly McCormack as Jess McGreedy, who is this hyper-competitive Canadian player, you know, and also grows very close with Lupe. You know, they actually are the characters that we see in the gay bar at some point in the movie, you know. Fun fact, Rosie O'Donnell makes a cameo appearance as the bar owner, you know, married to another woman, because why not? Everybody else is, you know. Then we have Priscilla Delgado as Esti Gonzalez, who's this Cuban player who speaks almost no English at all. So, I mean, let's just take somebody who doesn't speak the local language and shove them in there for comedic effect, you know, and just to have another minority represented there, you know. Then Molly Ephraim, you know, who plays Maybelle Fox, who's really feisty, her blonde hair. She apparently has kids at home, so she comes to play baseball to let her hair down and chill, you know. The last time I saw Molly, she was in Paranormal Activity, man. It's been a while. Then we also have Melanie Field as Joe DeLuca, who's the fun-loving player, you know, and Greta's best friend, who plays really well too. I believe she's more of like the slugging outfielder, hitting the home runs for the team, you know. It's really nice. Then we have Kate Berlant as Shirley Cohan, who's really anxious, you know. I actually don't even know who the hell else she is. Oh, I remember Shirley is the girl with the ponytails who's always worried about everything, you know, and getting paranoid and stuff. But still, yes, there are some recurring characters. Okay, fine, I'll read them. There's only a few. There's Alex Desert as Edgar Chapman, who is Maxine's father. He actually supports her, you know, in everything she does. Whereas her mother, unfortunately, you know, Saida Orika Ekulana, you know, her playing her mother Tony, you know, she doesn't really support her dreams or anything else that she wants to do for that matter, you know, but very good character development anyway. We have Nate Faxon as Marshall. Don't even remember who that character is. Dale Dickey as Beverly, who was the chaperone for the Rockford Peaches, you know. Also do not remember who the hell he even is. Then we have Aaron Jennings playing Guy, who is Clance's husband, you know, who goes off to war and he's really worried, but he's a nice guy. He can cook up quite a meal. We have Kendall Johnson as Gary, who I believe is the dude who did something. Then Leah Robinson as Bert Hart, who is oh, here we go. This is Maxine's uncle, who is a trans man, right? So was a woman who became a man, and she is, you know, her mom's sister who became brother, and he got ostracized from the family because of that, you know. And then we have Patrice Covington as Gracie, who is Bert's, you know, romantic partner, his wife. Oh yeah, man. Everybody's exploring sexuality in this damn thing, you know? It's just freaking crazy. I don't know, man. There is really no way to say this without appearing homophobic, I know, but it's just, I just think it wasn't necessary, you know? Like, there was a way for you to do this properly without having to shoehorn these themes there, you know, because the only people who are going to enjoy this show are people from the LGBT community, or those who really don't give a crap about them at all, to the point where they can consume it, you know. I personally felt really uncomfortable, you know. I don't know, man. Call me what the hell you want, I don't care. I didn't like it. Let's take a look at one more clip here before I go into the final stretch.
Max, can you lift 50 pounds? And are you willing to get the shit burned out of your hands?
Yes, and I guess so.
Great.
If you want the game to be more exciting, shorten the skirts.
What the hell are you doing?
I thought that you would catch it.
My back turned?
This is our one shot.
So Will Graham and Abby Jacobson, they actually seeked out Penny Marshall before her unfortunate passing away in 2018, and also Gina Davis, you know, they seeked them out so they could have their blessing to put together this show here, you know, and they did, you know, and oh my god, go away. There's a freaking okay, thank you. There was a wasp flying on my window here, but then it flew outside. It went away. Very polite wasp. That never worked before. Maybe I should start talking to these things instead of swatting at them. But anyway, so filming, right? The first episode, the pilot, was filmed in Los Angeles, California, but then everything else was delayed because of the COVID-19 pandemic. Many other scenes were shot in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, different fields, you know, freaking Ambridge, Fifth Avenue Park, and Memorial Field and whatnot, you know, and also, you know, Greenberg's Amtrak train station. But yeah, man, you know, what I think is really interesting is how there was reception that was very lukewarm towards it, you know. And one specific person said that the 30 years after the original, the film can finally be as gay as it should be, you know. And this show makes up for the lack of explicitly gay content of the original and then some. What do you mean lack of, man? It wasn't supposed to be gay, you know? It's not really the point of what the movie was. The original movie was to show, you know, feminism and sportsmanship and camaraderie, you know? The girls coming together to show that girls could play baseball just as well as men, if not even better, you know, breaking through barriers and stuff, you know? It was really good. The message was so awesome, very lukewarm and motivational, you know? And this one here did not take those lessons to heart, man, you know? It's like, let's forget everything about the original and just do gay rights, you know? Let's forget about all the other themes and just make everybody be against the girls being gay instead of actual baseball players, you know? I mean, dude, it doesn't make sense to say that it makes up for the lack of gay content in the original. We're talking about the early 90s, man. Things weren't, they weren't trying to pander to anybody and shoehorn things down people's throats like, you know, things are today, right? It's so stupid, man, honestly. Like, the show sometimes had a lukewarm feel. There were a few episodes that were fun to watch, you know, but ultimately I was more interested in Maxine navigating the waters of racism than seeing the girls navigating the waters of sexual you know, desires or whatever, you know, their own sexualities, you know, white privilege all over the place, man. Even at one point when Carson's husband returns from war, she kind of shuns him away, you know, it actually ends with the cliffhanger, you know, with her kissing Greta, you know, and then we find out that her husband actually saw it, you know, and he's just standing there with a blank face, and that obviously was gonna set up the second season, which is probably never gonna happen anyway. It's so stupid, man. What's wrong with letting the woman be married to a man and happy with that man? Why do you have to make her cheat with the... Oh my god. Okay, man. Okay, whatever. I just didn't really like it at all, you know. Like, sure, you could say that it was refreshingly different and diverse, you know, and that it was, you know, it was very diverse, you know, like trying to represent and pander to different minorities and also, you know, the LGBT community, you know, but I just felt like it was unnecessary, you know, and it's like, and you might think, well, if you don't like it so much, why did you watch it? Because I wanted to. Curiosity, you know, I like baseball, I like the original movie, but I unfortunately did not like this one. It did not sit well with me. And if you liked it, that's fine. You know, if you happen to be of the LGBT community yourself, congratulations, you know. I have nothing against you. You know, if you're gay, go be gay, be happy, do whatever the hell you want with your life, you know. I really don't care. You know, I have nothing against you, nor am I for you, if that makes any sense. I'm just neutral. I don't really care because I'm straight. I'm a heterosexual man myself. And I did not think that this show needed to focus so heavily on that, you know. Include it, sure, put it in for you know, by all means. But making the whole entire thing focus more on that and barely focus on baseball, you know. Like, one of the few things that I liked about it was the nostalgia factor, you know. It was well shot, well edited, well scripted, you know. Even the pacing was kind of okay at the beginning, but then it started to go off the rails with all of the drama with the girls and stuff, you know, but whatever. This might be the lowest rating I'm ever going to give anything on my channel, because I'm going to give A League of Their Own a 4 out of 10. That is just a very low rating, but still, like, lately I've just been talking about movies and TV shows that I like, so the ratings are really high, but I'm going to start with this one here, reviewing things that I didn't really like very much, so I can actually criticize them, you know, and it's all good, man. It's all good, that's all I can say, you know. There's really barely anything good, man, you know. Just if you want, you know, this to make a space to represent a certain group, you know, go ahead, man, but don't do it this way. Like, I've been recording for about 24 minutes, so maybe this is gonna be the same length as the League of Their Own review, the movie. But that's it. Let me know in the comments what you thought about this show, if you liked it, if you didn't like it, you know. Let's try to be friendly down there, because if you're not, you're gonna see a side of me that you're not gonna like. Anyway, so if you happen to like this video, which I think is going to be hard at this point, right? Please go ahead and give it a like, and also subscribe to my channel, because I release videos every single day. And while you're at it, hit the notification bell too, so you can know exactly what time I upload, and it's all good. Roll the final clip if there is one, and then the outro screen.
They don't get to decide if this is real or not. We do.
Let's go!
Things are changing pretty fast.
Hey, Dollface.